going to show you how to make these very handy setting tools. Very easy to make, and you see me use these all the time. So this one's the brass pusher, and this one is a claw tip shaper, so this burnishes the claw tip onto the stone. Very handy. Get yourself a couple of handles. I prefer the long mushroom shape, but it's up to you, whichever you prefer. And get yourself a piece of brass that's 3mm in diameter. Leave it longer than you think because we can cut it down after. You need some steel for the shaper, and you can use pretty much anything you can find. So this is a nail. I'm not going to use this one because it's a little bit bigger than I want. It's nearly 4mm in diameter. I need something around about 3.5mm. So I found this in my bits and pieces box, and I think it was a key for something from IKEA or something like that. It's got a little shape on the end there, but the steel's pretty good, so I'm going to use that, and it's 3.3mm, so I reckon that'll be pretty good, but just need to get rid of this bit here. So to do that, I'm using a aluminium oxide separating disc. So that's that. You need to get the shaft separately, and you buy the discs in a box. So very handy for doing small steel cutting and shaping and stuff like that. You might have seen me use these before. Make sure you put your dust mask on and safety glasses as well. So I'll just cut this end off first. The handles come with a very small hole there, so you need to open that out. Now if you've got a drill that's just a little bit smaller than the size of the metal that you're going to put through, then use that. I can't find one, so I'm going to use this ball burr. Now if you try and drive it in without opening the hole out, then you're going to split the wood, so just need to go down around about 20mm, something like that. Try and keep it as straight as you can. Now sharpen the steel. Probably enough. I'll do the same to the brass. Of course you can file the brass. Clamp the wire in your vise and just tap your handle in place. Okay, do the same with the brass. Just going to flatten the end of the brass and just use a flat stake and give it a few good whacks. Just make sure you've got the length you want as well, so you might need to cut it first before you do that, but that will work for me. I'll just straighten it out as well because it's a bit blunt. So the brass is nice and easy to shape to whatever you want. So you can either sharpen it to a smaller square point, or do what I do and put a little cut in there. And I find that shape really handy. I'm going to leave this a little bit thicker than my other one. I'll just show you the other one's thinner at the end, so I can use this one for very small stones, and this one I use on the bigger ones. So that's pretty much the brass pusher, nice and easy. The steel one, you might need to check if you've got the right length, so I'm quite happy with that, that works for me. And I'm going to shape the end. I like the square profile, it works better for working around claws. So I'm going to set up my separating disc on a little clamp that I use. I'll show you that now. So this grips the handpiece of the micromotor perfectly, and it's actually, you can get it from a hardware store, so you'll find it in your storage solutions area because it's used for holding broom handles and stuff like that, so quite a handy thing to have at the side of your bench. And put the separating disc in there. Now we want to just shape the end so that it's a squarer profile. And it's not an absolutely crucial step, this, so you want to just put the V-cut in the end of the round profile. That works okay as well. I just like the flat ends to work around, or the flat edge to work around the edge of the claws. Even better if you can find yourself a square profile piece of steel that's around about 3mm square, that'd be perfect. Now I'll just work off my peg and just cut into the end. I'll lean the disc towards the edge as well and do the same this way. And that's pretty much the shape I'm after. So I'm going to clean that up before I finish, and any surface scratches that you leave on your tool will just end up on whatever you're working on. So I'll clean that up. I'll start with the Morse disc first and just clean around the tip and go through the grades of emery, finishing with 2000 emery. I'll give it a nice polish. So let's try it out on this claw here. You can see the others have been done and they're burnished onto the crown of the stone quite nicely. That one's looking as though it's going to catch on all your clothes. It's not quite right, so I'll show you how to sort that out. I'll just file the claw tip at a similar angle to the crown of the stone, and then that leaves a sharp edge there. So here's where your tool comes in handy. So just put it in place over the claw like so, give it a wobble and a push, and it kind of mushes the metal forward and burnishes it onto the crown of the stone, and voila, you have got a claw that's shaped nicely and won't catch on clothing. Very handy tool. So get busy, hunt out some steel and make yourself one. Hope you enjoyed.